Welcome to Brawl News. Today we are going to uncover everything that we know about the next brawler coming in the next Brawl Stars update. I believe his name is Damian, but that's not confirmed. And I'm pretty sure that Damian is the third member of the MadEvil Manor trio with Draco and Lumi, though that's not confirmed either. I am speculating in this video, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Here's how I came to these conclusions. Supercell sent me a package that teaches us a fair bit about Damian, but the package didn't arrive on time. Thankfully, German YouTuber River sent me a bunch of pics of the package. Definitely check him out, especially if you speak German. Now, inside the package was a 20-sided die, along with a book titled Metal Heart MadEvil Tale. And of course, when you remove the book from the package, you see Spike, who is watching. Always watching. Very creepy. Now, on the first page, we see a conversation between three brawlers, right? Draco, Lumi, and a third person who I believe is Damian, the next brawler coming to Brawl Stars. Sir Brightscale, late as always. I hope you brought your dice this time. And then Draco says, shut it up, bro. Oh, hi, Lumi. Lumi, of course, responds with, that's purity of the frozen ember to you. Of course, I knew that. Oh, man. My dragon burnt a hole in my bag. You got any extra dice, Damian? Again? Okay, fine. But you better pay super close attention because I put a lot of work into this campaign. Are you ready to rock? Now, Draco is playing a bard named Sir Brightscale. Lumi is playing a barbarian named Purity. And Damian is the dungeon master, or the person who's telling the story. Clearly, they're playing Dungeons and Dragons together. And this isn't that different from the most recent animation that Brawl Stars released. Now, clearly, this whole animation is filmed from the perspective of Damian, and we actually hear that he has a little bit of a Scottish or an Irish accent going on.
Come on, Draco, we're ready to start. Stop flirting with Lumi.
There's actually more reason to believe that he's Scottish or Irish, which I'll talk about later on in this video. But first, let's continue with the story of the Metal Heart. You enter the once glorious capital city of Bright Star at the behest of the mechanist physician. This is clearly Pam. Fabled heroes of legend, we bequeath your help. As of late, our fair city has been beset by quakes and tremors. We humbly request that you identify the source of this instability and quell it before the great Bright Star is not but dang ruins. Sorry guys, I don't know how to do Pam's voice. I'm just doing my best here. We've also received several reports of a disturbance at Castle Courtshire. It's unclear whether the quakes are related. Okay, so we have three options. First of all is to just ignore the mechanist and just go to the damaged buildings and try and find the dungeon. The second option is to check out the castle. Or third option, which is what I'm gonna go with, is Draco starts rifling through his notes. Wait, I got just the spell for this. I cast Charm Person, and then I demand that the mechanist physician spill the beans. Now we have to roll a 20-sided die here, so I'm gonna roll this, and I'm really hoping for something more than one. Okay, 18, that's perfect. If we would have rolled a 1, then Damian would have made fun of us. And I didn't want that to happen. With a subtle flick of the wrist and a few muttered words, the mechanist physician falls under Sir Brightscale's spell. It is a violation of my sacred vows to tell you the existence of the ancient core that powers this city, but for such dear and trusted friends, I can make an exception. The core has suffered immense damage over the centuries and is now beyond my skill to heal. Only a wand of greater healing or ancient heavy metal ore has a chance of repairing it. Alas, the wand is jealously guarded by fairies, and ancient dragons covet the only known ancient heavy metal ore on the continent. I fear we are doomed. Head to the crossroads and seek your fortune. Then we continue to page 14. This is fun. I like that Supercell did this. We'll get more into Damian and what we learned from this, but our adventure awaits. You arrive at a crossroads. To the left, you see the glorious enchanted woods where fairies and other fantastical creatures live. On the right, you see a cave entrance with flames and smoke billowing out. This is the dragon's den. So we choose one option and then turn to the next page. We're gonna go to the enchanted woods. I've kind of spoiled it for myself. I know what is in the enchanted woods and we have to do it. You stroll through the enchanted woods, chuckling at the fairies and staring at the glittering fauna. At some point, you are followed by a rather annoying fairy, a glowing blue light that keeps telling you to listen. Despite having nothing to say, you eventually arrive at a clearing. If you don't know the reference that is definitely like a reference to Legend of Zelda, the blue fairy. Listen, oh my gosh, I'm sick right now. My voice isn't the best, or I would try to imitate it a little bit better. As you head deep into the enchanted woods, you come across a peculiar sight. An enormous fairy with a head the size of a large boulder is prancing around a clearing. Okay, this is Fairy Frank. I gotta try to do Fairy Frank's voice. Hello. Oh, that was pretty good. I'm Frank. I know you come seeking the wand of greater healing. Sorry. I felt like it started good and then it turned into like Cookie Monster or something weird like that. He flicks his wrist, showing off a giant star-shaped wand. If you want my help, you will answer me this one question. What do you think of my outfit? Okay, so we have 3 different options. First of all, we can say it's the best outfit we'd ever seen, never seen anything better. Or we can go and say, it suits you, a great choice. Or Purity instantly can respond and say, it's a bit goofy for my taste, to be honest. Where's the black? No band logos? We're gonna go with option C here. Frank is shocked by your remarks. Offended, he flicks his wand and solemnly says, sashay away. Oh my gosh, my throat. And teleports you directly into the dragon's den. Okay, I chose that route because I wanted to see the dragon's den and Fairy Frank. Inside the cave, you see a giant dragon sleeping on a pile of riches. This particular dragon looks especially greedy. If you squint, his face even looks like a cash register. As you look around the room, you spy something, a glowing shiny rock. It's the ancient heavy metal ore. Now we have an option to either fight the dragon and grab the ore, or even though we don't have a rogue in the party, try and steal the ore. I'm going to risk it with the dice and try and steal the ore. Okay, give me something good here. Oh, okay, 12. I'm okay with 12. You succeed in stealing the ancient heavy metal ore. Excellent. With your treasure in hand, you journey to the core to save the city. As you enter the chamber, you see the mechanist physician pacing back and forth. The core resembles a massive human heart. It is beating faintly. As you walk closer, you see that the floor is covered in a thick purple goo, which you notice is leaking from the broken core. The core itself addresses the party in a cackling, groaning voice. I am no longer able to pump enough power to support the city. Even with the strongest magical and mechanical support, this experience has been overwhelming for me. I didn't want to let my city suffer. I didn't tell anyone this. Please forgive me. I didn't know how to share my pain. Suffer with me now and let's bear this pain together. Thankfully, we have an ancient heavy metal ore, and we decide to hand it over. You hand the ancient heavy metal ore to the mechanist physician, who begins prepping for magical surgery by setting up with a complex healing contraption and placing the ore within. You look on helplessly as the mechanist physician's healing contraption begins to whir and spin. Metal sparks shower from within, and magical energy swirls around it. There's a loud crack, and the cavern goes dark. Silence. Then, slowly, steady, metallic thump, thump, thump. Light returns, the rumbling stops. Behold the beating of the metal heart. The core has been renewed, and the magical purple liquid flows through it with no issues. As you look around the cavern, you see cracks being mended, and the quakes subsiding. You did it! You're the heroes! The end. That was fun. I enjoyed that. And that is not the only story in this adventure. There are alternative endings as well. One explores a challenge given by the God of Rock, also known as Jay Young wielding a sword. Another involves Spike, who has been following you for 3 days. It's probably been longer than that, though, let's be honest. And if you want to explore all of the endings, stick around to the end of the video and I'll explain how you can do that. But I do want to point out one specific story of a scared little red-headed boy. You enter Castle Courtshire, greeted by a mouse and a talking trash can. They point to the center courtyard where you see 2 giant ogres picking on a young red-headed child. The ogres are towering hulks made of pure muscle. As you look closer, you see that they also have red hair. Now we have a choice to fight them and help the kid, or run away, because discretion is the better part of valor after all. For the purposes of learning about Damian, we're going to choose to run away. Damian seems personally upset by the party's decision. Seriously, I thought you guys would stick up for me. I mean, the ginger kid. Guess I was wrong. Damian gets up and leaves, leaving Draco and Lumi confused by the session's abrupt and early end. Your adventure has come to an end. Try again. So here we learn that this little kid is Damian, and that Damian likely has red hair. Another indicator that Damian is likely Scottish or Irish, though obviously you don't have to be from Scotland or Ireland to have red hair. It's just that red-headed people are typically associated with Irish and Scottish backgrounds or heritage. Now, there's not a whole lot more that we know for sure about Damian, but there are some other things. And I actually think I have like a few characteristics of what kind of abilities he might have. In the recent animation, we actually never see what he looks like besides his hands and arms, but I do have some speculation based off of this. In this particular clip, we see that Damian actually has some pretty beefy arms. You know which other brawlers have beefy arms? Bull, El Primo, Frank, right? 3 of the biggest tanks in the game. Now, obviously not every tank in the game has big arms. Ollie is considered a tank. Hank is literally a shrimp, so he has tiny arms. But this does make me think that Damian is likely going to be some sort of a tank. Or how about another mythic assassin? As for his attack, we don't know very much, but we do know that the MadEvil Manor is a heavy metal band. Draco's the guitarist, Lumi's the drummer. So what is Damian? Well, there are a few different options. We know that the MadEvil Manor is loosely based off of an actual metal rock band, Dragon Force. When Draco was first announced, they actually had a massive collaboration with Dragon Force, and they had a whole area called the Dragon Forge, and Dragon Force actually performed and wrote a song about Draco and how he grew up and saved a dragon from angry red-headed ogres. Sounds kind of similar actually to what's going on here with Damian, right? You can actually see this is young Draco right here fighting off against them and stuff like that, and that's how he became best friends with his dragon and stuff. And I don't know how directly associated Dragon Force is for the inspiration of the MadEvil Manor trio. However, it's pretty clear that Dragon Force was at least some inspiration for the trio. And Dragon Force was actually founded by 2 guitarists. So Damian could be another guitarist. He could also be a bassist. Maybe he's the pyrotechnician for their shows. What I think is most likely, though, is that he's the lead vocalist. Clearly, he's a storyteller because he's always the dungeon master when they're playing Dungeons and Dragons. He's a little bit full of himself and likes the spotlight to be on him, right? And every good metal band needs a strong vocalist. And I'm like 95% convinced that his abilities will somehow be tied to using a microphone. In the very beginning of the latest animation, we catch a quick glimpse of what I believe to be Damian's weapon. I don't blame you guys if you missed this because I actually didn't notice it the first time I watched it, but for one quick frame, we see a better picture of what clearly looks like the top end of a microphone with spikes around its base that match Damian's left wristband. This is like clearly a microphone, right? Like what else would this strange like circular sphere be? It's a microphone. It's a microphone. It's gotta be. We'll see if I'm right in a week or so when we actually see Brawl Talk, but I'm pretty sure that Damian is going to use a microphone to deal damage, potentially buff his teammates, maybe even debuff enemies, and which sounds like a lot like Jae Young. So they've got to differentiate him between Jae Young. So that's why I also think he might be a tank rather than a support brawler. And there are a few other things that we know about him. We know he likes to eat cookies, though he actually might be a bit of a picky eater because he only took 1 bite. We also know he likes picking on and rejecting Draco.
Ooh, I want a beer. You get rejected.
Why?
No.
Orange juice?
Nope.
Water?
And he doesn't approve of Draco flirting with Lumi.
Stop flirting with Lumi.
What? I'm not flirting.
I'm really excited to learn more about Damian. This was actually a really cool way for Brawl Stars to give us a little bit of a heads up of what could be the next brawler. We don't even know if it's Damian. They have hinted towards potential brawlers that never ended up being released into the game. The fact that they showed a whole animation and they listed Damian as a dungeon master, though, it's gotta be, right? It's gotta be. It has to be. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think. And if you want to explore the entire Metal Heart adventure and see all the different endings and everything like that, you guys are going to want to check out Lex's video right here, where he actually has an interactive storyline where you get to kind of like go and choose all the different options yourself and explore all of the potential ends and stuff like that. And make sure you subscribe for more updates, sneak peeks whenever I can share it with you.